Hey, Curious here. Let me adjust this skin and stuff. Okay. And, let's see, what were we talking about today? Oh, yeah. Okay. How little Curious grew up. Alright? There. See, I'm screwing with my mic. My stupid mic. Alright. How little Curious grew up. Damn, I got this blemish on my face, so I can't really do any videos and stuff right now. I don't know, something bit me or a friggin' pimple or something, but anyway. Uh I saved a clip from somebody's video, but I really don't want to get into it until I make it, so I don't really want to reference it too much, but someone called me a poor white farmer. Yeah! Oh! Oh! Yes! I don't know why, but I just love that. More tea. I wish I had the skills of a farmer. Shit, I got a half acre. Let me talk about that half acre. When I was 4, I lived in a kind of a rural, suburban area. It was a, what do they call those? A county? No. Yeah. Oh, wait. There's counties. Okay. Okay. It was like an adjacent county that the part of it was still on the outskirts of the main city. It was a unincorporated, I think they call it unincorporated county, because it didn't have a city of its own, or it really wasn't a major city, or something like that. It maybe just had a little small city, front street kind of city, really nothing. And then the major city, which wasn't like a metropolis, but was like the main central hub of the whole area, the whole district, or zip code, or no, not zip code, just the whole region, all the adjacent counties. Well, we lived on the outskirts of the main county, and this was kind of like suburban, but it was more rural. It was predominantly white, and I think we lived in a duplex. I don't remember, I was only 4. And it was kind of expensive, but, well, see, I thought I was going to live there. My parents used to take me out into the country. There was another major city about 50 miles away, 40 miles away. And there, they had the horses. I mean, they had horses. There was this farm that they rented land and people to care for their horses while we went up there and freaking, rode the horses in the country. We used to take all these trips all the time, and we used to go to the flea markets, the big country flea markets, and I thought, wow, I'm going to learn to drive. This is going to be my life. I'm going to friggin', this is, I was forementing how I was going to friggin', become an adult. I think all kids do to some degree. what will I do when I grow up is more like a kid thinking about what their future is going to be like. And I thought this was it. But what happened? What happened? Let me tell you what happened. My parents got a sweet deal on a house. And, I mean, they got it for like dirt cheap, you know? And it was all the way in the city, but it was in a suburb. It was in which I didn't know at the time, predominantly Hispanic area next to a major black area, major African American area. And there was it was a lot more, it was almost urban. It was on the edge. Yeah, come think of it. It was right near the main cross street where it went from outer or inner suburban to outer urban. It was right at that street where it was considered officially downtown or midtown for some stupid reason they like to call it. In any case, well, I guess midtown because it was up from the river and stuff, and instead of like by historic old town and where everything was, all the government buildings and all that. Well, we were in the car and we went for another ride, and I wasn't always too cognizant of what was being said or not. My parents chitter chattered and yabba yabba, and generally, I wasn't too included, but I kind of liked just daydreaming and looking out the scenery and stuff too. So that was kind of cool, But occasionally, they'd, include me in stuff, or I'd get interested in stuff they were saying. Off and on. But we pulled down the street, and I'm like, what are we doing in this area? Oh, this is crap, And I'm like, man, I go, why are we here? And go, oh, we're going to look at a house. Why? To what? Are you going to work on it? My dad was, he was a handyman. And I thought, oh, well, maybe he's got a job because he had an old truck and he used to go do different things and some really wild adventures, going up to friggin' up in the mountains, getting loads of friggin' copper and stuff and everything, all legal, from people who sold wire and other things like that, auctions and whatnot, and basically a salvage man or repairman or delivery man. Delivery as in appliances, stuff like that. And in any case, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this is a job. I would work beside him. I would. I was okay. I thought I was okay. Maybe I wasn't so okay. Looking back at it as an adult, I could think of a lot of ways I'd have been a lot better worker. But then again, I wasn't interested in that. There was just gripe, bitch. Why am I even here, And anyway, so we're at this chunky house. I mean, it's just like, people are yelling at each other, crap's all over the lawn, there's a crappy fence, there's a broke down friggin' barn, or garage, 2-door garage. And it's just like the whole neighborhood's got people friggin' standing around and just friggin'. And I'm not talking about color or anything. I'm just talking about, I don't remember, but I just remember friggin' loud talking and boom boxes and chatter and yelling here and there and car freaking tires squealing and just shit. Ghetto. It was a fucking ghetto. And my mom goes, "Well, honey, how'd you like to live here? We're gonna probably live here now." And I was like, "No! No! No! I don't want to live here!" Hated this house. First time I saw it. "Oh, don't overreact. It's okay. It's just sit back and be quiet and let us talk." "I don't want to live here. I don't like this. Let's get out of here." "Dad, I thought this was a job." "No, now be quiet. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's a good deal and we're probably going to like it, so you'll get to like it, I'm like, "No, you can't. You can't play here. Look at these people and stuff. It's a really bad neighborhood. I don't want to live here. I don't want to be here." And I didn't. And I never did. I had no freaking connection to anybody. I was basically trapped in an area. Couldn't walk out the street. Couldn't freaking know where to walk to. Just it was voted the ugliest street in the city. And it was just, I don't know. It's just, never liked it. But I was a kid and, dummy up meant dummy up. And besides, they were getting a really great deal, so, well, I don't know. I can appreciate that as a youth. "Oh, okay, money's money. I'm a little Scottish enough to know that." "Okay, we'll go through hell, but we'll make a killing, Oh, I think I heard something about, well, we'll fix it up. The foundation's falling off its fucking hinges now. Yeah, we'll fix it up." Well, I went along, and it was everything. And there was there was a elementary school right across the street. Oh, yeah, that was hell. That was freaking hell. No doubt about it. But I guess the one nice thing was that there was a half acre. But then again, there was my dad arguing with the neighbors. Freaking the constant drama of freaking people. And, and ethnic tension so fucking thick you could cut it with a knife. It's friggin' Chico and the Man. And we were the Man family. It's just really nice being friggin' socially friggin' disenfranchised in a local community. Not to mention that friggin', all the kids that I knew at my age grew up and joined the gang. Yay, the gang! I know why they shoot each other. Because I wanted to shoot them myself. Every damn last one of them. Hated those people. Still hate those people. Hate them much. But now, I see them with their kids. They had a little bit of privilege I didn't get. Oh, this is getting sour. But no. I'm a white farmer and I don't really understand, you know, the freaking, what's not to understand? You know, uh, been down to the welfare office, been around the hood, learned all the freaking politics, because it was freaking integrated into my freaking lectures at school during the 70s. You know, danced in the Cinco de Mayo parades, with the big sombrero on. Ate all the freaking cafeteria food, that was freaking so diverse. Well, actually, I love that, but, the stuff was garbage, but I love cafeteria food. Won't lie. I like that. Now, got beat up by the local bullies daily, or fighting, couldn't catch a break, couldn't hang with friggin' people without getting friggin' dissed all the time because friggin' I was different, and then, I'm right across the street all the friggin' time, just right there, right across from the playground, just I friggin' used to try to sneak home and get into my friggin' house, and get away. Nah, they caught on to that. It was a hellhole. It was a complete, utter hell hole. And then the junior high and the high school were also freaking the hellhole, because you had to go to the black area. The ones where they were friggin' choking people out and, and having the rap wars and everything, But I'm a poor, dumb, white farmer who didn't get it. No. I got it. I really did get it. And when I was older, and I moved down to my grandmother's, and later on, when Grandma went into the rest home, I got caught up. Then I really got it, because I got it from the inside. And I knew all these people still. And they knew me. And to my credit, because I had grown up in the hood, I was given a pass on some things. But that also meant that frigging, while I was not in danger in one way, I was also in more danger in another. Oh, we know you, we own you. Yeah. No. Because you see, it was my grandmother's house, although my parents still owned it, and it was about 8 things down the street. And from 18 on, although I moved down there when I was 16, I was supposed to be taking care of my grandmother, preparing to do something with my life, and and I cannot drive a car. I don't know what it is, really, honestly. That's just beside the point, but I've tried and tried and tried, and whatever mechanism there is, I was vehicularly unsafe behind a car, a truck, any four-wheel vehicle. I couldn't do it. I don't know. I just couldn't do it from the side. Now, motorcycles, I could ride friggin' one-handed. I mean, I've been riding motorcycles and a moped since I was a kid. I never had any problems with them. And, I just graduated right up to freaking, heavy cruisers. I mean, it's not a problem for me. And I'm a safe and reliable driver. And I don't do stupid things either. I see people do a lot of stupid things, but you can't ride a motorcycle, even in West Coast friggin' temperate, moderate weather, even in winter. You can't drive a motorcycle vehicle. So, in the north areas where all the money was. And then later on, in a neighboring town, which was pretty close to where we were originally from. If we had stayed where we were from, that area would have developed a significant commerce and come up economically, and my life would have been much, much better. I would have been located near a college, although I am. But I would have been located near a lot of areas where not only a college, but I would have had easy access to intermediate jobs that I could have gotten. As it was, I was severely disadvantaged by a lot of reverse discrimination. Because when you're searching for diversity employment, blue eyes and a Euro ethnic look do not endear you to freaking employment. Unless you're a manager, and I did not have managerial skills. Believe me, I thought about all this. I thought about going into a trade. My trade was supposed to be drafting. I thought about getting a sports scholarship. I was a wrestler. I blew out my friggin' shoulder bone on a varsity match that I was wrestling a person above my grade who friggin' cheated and slammed me in the mat and broke my shoulder bone. You know? And I think the guy was on something. You know, so there went any chance of making a trade. And without the ability to drive a vehicle, there was no possibility of getting anywhere to get real employment, to build a work history, to pay for education, to move up into even a trade job. I couldn't do what my father did. I tried to do what my mother did and be a drafter, but by that time it went into computers. Oh, it was for a telephone company. And I did not have the interpersonal skills or the freaking mindset or the academic discipline or, frankly, the upbringing to freaking do these things. So I was trapped in a hole. And then later on, I got trapped in another hole. Oh, I know. Wah. You know? But no. Bullshit. He's a poor white farmer who never understood the frigging things that frigging... Well, I'm going to get into that video later, because that video's coming. But you know what? Don't tell me about freaking being disadvantaged. Don't tell me about being God, see, I can't think of it, you know? Freaking not discriminated. Well, probably, but disenfranchised. You know? Oh shit, I got something in mind. Yeah, I know all about being disenfranchised. And I know what it's like to be economically disenfranchised from an economically depressed area that doesn't have any available resources to freaking support you. So no. I would have been lucky to been a poor white farmer. I would have been happy to been the poor white farmer. Frankly. So you excuse me if I do feel disenfranchised, because it was my responsibility to freaking take care of my family's estates, and or even just freaking get my own self-sufficiency in line and set out on my own. What didn't happen, okay? And if it seems like I'm upset, it's because I'm always upset and angry. I think just like a lot of people in my area are upset and angry. And yeah, I do understand them pretty damn well. Because really, maybe I did have a little privilege of being white. Because then, if I wasn't, I really would have been pressured to being conformed to their beliefs, their enablement. So yeah, I'm angry. And yeah, I'm pissed off. And I'm pissed off at the nonsense about race, when it's really about society and culture. And they can't see it, and I can. So please, don't tell me about friggin' not understanding. I understand all too damn fucking well.